All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. How many decisions have you made today? I mean, here on the West Coast, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, and I guarantee you've probably made 10 or 15 decisions. You've made decisions on what you're going to wear. You've made decisions on what you're going to eat for breakfast. You've made decisions on how you're going to plan the rest of your day. So I'm going to tell you about a book that really helped me realize what were the best decisions to make in life. Now, I'll preface this by saying you've probably made 1,000 decisions to make hundreds of different books. But this book, you probably haven't read unless you're old school like me. And it's not by your favorite author. You probably have never even heard of it, most of you. What is it? What is this book that's not by a guru that helps you make decisions? Well, like I said, if you're a child of the 80s like me, you might have done it for a book report. And here it is, guys. Are you ready? Yes, it's called Choose Your Own Adventure. Now, if you've ever read a Choose Your Own Adventure, you know that it's exactly what it says. The choice is yours. What can you do in life? Now, this was huge when I rediscovered this book because I hadn't seen it since I was like maybe in 5th grade. But I remembered it and I picked one up on eBay. And here's the key. We make decisions every day. Some are minor, some are major. Some have a small impact on our lives, some have a huge impact on our lives. But this particular book resonated with me because I remember when I was little, everybody picked these to do their book reports. In 5th grade, everybody picked Choose Your Own Adventure to do a book report. You know why? Because you could literally choose your path and it end in 3 or 4 pages. Because there's different choices you make. And as a 5th grader, you want to get the book report over and say, well, I chose to get on the ship and I died, and that's the end of my book report, rather than going to read a full book. But here's the difference as an adult. And I'm going to read this to you, and this is why this is so important if you don't know these books. It says, this is your most challenging and dangerous mission. Fear and excitement are now your companions. So that's kind of like life. Fear and excitement are your companions. Every decision, some has some kind of excitement or maybe some kind of fear. And it goes on. It says, remember, this is a dangerous world, an unknown world. So we'd like to think of our world as safe, but let's face it, some things are dangerous. Some little decisions, maybe even what you put in your mouth, what you eat, could have an effect on your health, okay? Here's the big part, my friends. Here's the big part. I love this. Just a second. It says, remember, you must use all of your numerous talents and much of your intelligence. You and you alone are in charge of what happens in this story. So here's something for 5th grade, and it's telling you to be responsible. You must use your talents because you and you alone are responsible for what happens in your story. What a great thing for kids to realize that, hey, you know what? I'm going to make decisions. Some of them are going to be dangerous. Some of them are going to be challenging, but I'm responsible. And it's a dangerous world out there. So this book allows you to make a decision, and this one's particularly under the sea. Are you going to go search for the treasure, or are you going to stay in the safety of your ship, your underwater submersible? And it says, what lies down there? There are bubbles coming up from beneath the sea. See, there are bubbles. There's a sudden and disturbing digital reading on your instruments, a mid-ocean earthquake. The seeker is not damaged, but the Marae might leave. Okay, so this is your mother ship. Here's what it says. He goes, maybe you should ascend to the top of the surface right away. On the other hand, perhaps you're on the verge of one of the world's greatest discoveries, and you have to make a decision. Do you stay in the safety of your ship, or do you venture out into the sea in search of one of the world's greatest discoveries and riches? So let's look at that, and how do we put that into perspective for today? Every day, we said, you're faced with decisions. Every day, you are responsible for advancing your life. A lot of those decisions could be very safe, but then again, a lot of those decisions are going to have consequences. what do we know? What do we know as truth? Typically, one thing we can assume is nothing worth value, nothing worth achieving doesn't come without great risk. We've heard it before. With great risks come great rewards. Are you going to play it safe, or are you going to go get what you want? And this is the essential part of what we look at as even capitalism. Are you going to play it safe and go to a job and go your 9 to 5 and do what somebody else tells you to do and spend 40 years doing something that you know you're going to get a paycheck, but you're really never going to self-actualize? You're really never going to follow your dreams. You're really never going to go out there and say, this is what I was born to do. This is what God put me on this green earth to do. Or like this little children's book, are you going to step out of the ship into the big ocean, take a risk, because on the other side of that risk, you know, is what you really want? And that's what we call entrepreneurship. That's what we call really going for it and reaching your ultimate potential. It's not safe. It is not safe. We know this. But then again, we know that without great risks, we don't achieve great rewards. And we know that for the most part, we're alone, and there are going to be some tough decisions. Again, going back to that book, we must use all of our numerous talents and much of our intelligence. The wrong decision could end in disaster. But at any time, you can go back. At any time, you can go back and make another choice. I hope I still have you guys here. And when you make that choice, you change the path that you're on. You change your ability to move forward. So what I ask you, my friends, is always keep trying. And this kind of goes to where we're at this morning with my original post. Always keep trying. You know that we're never in the state of perfection. We're never in the state where everything is going perfectly. And why is that? Because that's not life. That's not real. But we're constantly moving forward. We're making what we call smart decisions. We're making what we call informed decisions. We're kind of taking chances, but we're taking calculated risks, knowing that we're going to have to back up those calculated risks with what? Hard work. We're going to have to back up those chances that we make in our careers as being entrepreneurs with what? Hard work. Because we have great ideas. We have conviction in our heart. We know what we want. We know what we're good at and what moves us every day. But the question is, are we going to back it up with the risky choices, but the hard work that follows? Because every single choice you make comes with an outcome. If I'm going to put something good into my body or something bad into my body, am I going to stay safe in this career, or am I going to venture off and do what I know is in my heart? And if you do what you know is in your heart, you know that the world awaits you. You know that you cannot go wrong if you follow your heart. And I know that sounds kind of out there, woo-woo-wee. I want to make it real. I want to make it real. And take a deep breath here and just tell yourself this. If you go with what you know, if you go with what's in your heart, it's never, ever wrong, because it's what's in your heart. It's that voice that follows you to bed when you go to sleep at night. It's that voice that when you wake up in the morning, it's still there saying, this is what you want to do. This is what you were made for. This is the choice you're going to have to make. You are going to have to decide, do you step out, do you take a risk, or do you stay in the safety of that ship? Do you stay in the safety of that ship? You know, if we pick the road less traveled, we know that's the tougher road sometimes, but it's in your gut. What does your gut tell you? Because you can talk yourself in and out of every decision. The question is, what's resonating over and over and over again? If you have something that's coming to you over and over and over again, and you can't get rid of it, that's your gut telling you that's where to go. And sad to say, there is no safety net. There is no safety net. In this particular book, it says at the beginning, you could shut it off and go back. If you make the wrong decision, at any time you can go back and make another choice. and change the result. But sometimes in life, you get a couple second chances, but you know you have to make good decisions. And that's why you have to plan things out. And don't allow anybody to tell you that you can't do it. Yeah, Susan, you got to leave that ship, because there is the safety of the ship. And that's what some people will want to give you. Hey, if you don't try, if you promise not to play big, we'll take care of you. We'll give you enough to live on. We'll give you, shelter so you're not outside. We'll give you just enough food, but we're not going to give you any lobster. We're not going to give you a house where you have elbow room to move in. We're not going to let you see the world, but you'll be safe. That's not what we want. We want to say, hey, look, God put you on this planet. Hopefully you're born in a country that gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. We know that's important. We know that some people are still living in oppression and they don't have as many options. But here in the United States and the free world and democracies, we know that we have the ability to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness. Don't take that for granted, my friends. So we learn our greatest strengths through failure. And perhaps this is the most important. This is what I'm going to leave you with right now. You do not learn from safety. You learn from failure. You got to skin your elbows. You got to skin your knees, because that's the greatest teacher. I'll never do that again. And if you have kids, you know that. Don't jump on the furniture. Don't stand on that chair. You'll fall. They don't listen to you. They fall and they cry. And guess what? Not going to stand on that chair again. Lesson learned. Same thing with your goals in your business. Don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to go for it. The worst that could happen is you fail. But if you fail, you get up, pick yourself up, and you do it differently, or you do it better. And that has happened to every single successful person on the face of the earth. Case in point, we know Steve Jobs. Failed, did it differently, succeeded. Walt Disney World, failed, people told me he wasn't going to do it, succeeded. Elvis Presley, you're a terrible singer, you'll never make it. He kept trying, succeeded. No one ever had a smooth path to success. It doesn't exist, but you must take chances. So no woo-woo. You got to risk stuff. And if you do it, you're going to love it. So think about this book. If you don't know about it, order one. It's a children's book. You can get it on eBay for like $5. And it's a great lesson if you have kids, to teach them to make decisions and to make calculated decisions, but know that, hey, every decision comes with a consequence. And there's going to be successes and failures. And the more you fail, the more you're going to be successful. Because we know what? We know that fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. So get out there and make your fortune. Go with your gut. Make those decisions and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.